Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with some more thorough spoilers. So to start us off, we have Canto del Signo, I guess, something like that. I don't speak Italian, but it's an Italian card. So let's go to the translation. It's a 1 blue CMC cost for an Instantaneo, which is an instant, that counters target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. His controller puts a 2/2 bird token flying onto the battlefield under his control. So again, this joins the ranks of those cards that we've seen already in the set that give your opponent something for a destroy or counter effect. It's interesting that it's a counter spell. We've seen a lot of destroy target creature or destroy target permanent and give them something. The fact that it's a counter spell effect doing that is pretty interesting. I guess it's a pretty solid card. It's like negates. It's a 1 cost negate, basically. Not quite as good because it's only these 3 enchantment, instant, or sorcery. It doesn't include, other non-creature spells. But the fact is, it's a pretty wide range of countering, and for 1 blue, it would have some could have some consideration even in modern and legacy potentially. The only thing that makes it really weird is why is it a rare? Does anybody get this? I mean, it's the same question I had for Hero's Demise or whatever the better murder card was that we sold the other day. Really? Wizards, why does it have to be a rare? The Hero's Demise, maybe I have an idea just because Dreadbore was a rare. But that was, a 2 removal, murders a 3 removal, but it destroys a planeswalker. Again, it still seems like it should be an uncommon. And in this case, it's a counter spell that's only slightly better, or it's worse than negate in the fact that it costs 1 but targets a lot fewer, a lot less things. And then here they're making it also, it's, Beast Within, which was like the first of this give your opponent something, was an uncommon. And that destroyed any permanent. So being able to have a slightly worse counter or something close to a null or somewhere between a null and negate, both of which are not rare, and you're still giving your opponent a 2/2 flyer on top of it. Why is this rare? It just doesn't seem to be rare to me at all. So I don't know what Wizards is doing with some of these rarity things. So these cards just don't seem to be rare. We had Dismember and Beast Within both at uncommon level in New Phyrexia. So why is this sitting at rare? I don't know. Maybe you guys have an idea and can enlighten me. Next we have Dissolve, which joins Dissipate as the strictly better cancel. So why do we have cancel spell? It's 1 and 2 blue for an instant, counter a spell. Okay, scry 1. So it's just cancel, but it gives you a scry. So, if you were going to run cancel, just run dissolve instead. I guess if it's competing against dissipate, which I don't think it is because isn't Innistrad rotating. So I don't think it's going to be competing against dissipate. But if it was, I still would probably choose dissipate over it just because it exiles the card permanently, and with the amount of reanimator and stuff we have going on, graveyards are important. In this case, though, if it's going to replace Dissipate, it seems like a good replacement. Better than Cancel. I wouldn't want to see another Cancel reprint. Then we have a whole slew of cards out of the Mothership, starting with the Whip of Erebos. Mass Sticks, I think, was its name from the Planeswalker's Guide. 2 and 2 black, so making it difficult to splash in 3 color, but not impossible. Legendary Enchantment Artifact. Creatures you control have lifelink. Wow. Okay, that's a really good start, especially because his effect is other players can't gain life. So giving all your creatures lifelink seems like a good idea. It definitely fits him. 2 and 2 black, so paying a cost again, tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Realize it's saying if it would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So cards like the Eldrazi or Blightsteel, let's say you shuffle it back in your deck instead of the graveyard, I don't think it would work here because this would exile it permanently. It wouldn't go anywhere else. So the fact that it works on your graveyard, it's basically a Dread Returns on a stick. And if anyone remembers, Dread Returns is a pretty solid card. So wow, a card that lets you reuse all your creatures for a very reasonable cost seems ridiculous. And then you add on that you give all your creatures lifelink. So in aggro mirrors, it's going to be ridiculous because you gain full advantage from the lifelink and being able to bring back your guys when you lose them and trade it, and you're trading creatures and such. You kind of have all the advantage. It's very, very powerful. I think it definitely has constructed viability in standard. May even see some play in modern reanimator. It's possible. I don't know about legacy just because it's a little slow. You have to play it for 4 and then it costs another 4 to do anything. So I'm not quite sure about that. But it's definitely EDH commander. It's gonna be a card, guys. This card is amazing, ridiculously good in almost any deck that could run it, just because it's so much recurability on a stick. Wow. Then we have Trojan Horse, which is 4 for a 0/4 defender horse. This is Trojan Horse, obviously. Design: when it enters the battlefield, an opponent gains control of it. Aha, so you give it to your opponent. Very flavorful. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent puts a 1/1 white soldier creature token on the battlefield. Ah, that's interesting. So they play it, you play it, you give it to your opponent, and then on their turn, all their opponents, i.e. you, get a 1/1 white soldier. So it's a creature they control, so they have to kill their own defender. But if they don't, then it gives you tokens every single turn. That is really flavorful and very, very cool. Obviously, it has some potential. Maybe, maybe. I mean, I don't know why it's rare. It doesn't seem a rare to me at all. Again, the rarity seems a little weird in the set. Some of the cards that are rare don't seem like they need to be in. Some uncommons maybe should be rare. Very cool card, very flavorful though. I don't really see. I don't know if it's quite good enough for limited, just because it gives your opponent an 0/4. So even if you get a token, it would take a bunch of turns before you can get through this guy anyway. So not quite sure. But flavor-wise, hits it on the head. Heliodes Emissary is another yay bestow creature. These lost their excitement once we've seen some of these counter spells that kill these. I mean, think about it. The counter spell we just saw today, it's kind of ridiculous. It gets rid of gods. It gets rid of enchantment creatures. So they play enchantment creature for bestowed for 7, and then you exile it, or you counter it. That makes sense. Really cost effective. 4 for a 3/3 with bestow. Whenever it or enchanted creature attacks, tap target creature an opponent controls. Okay, and he gets 3/3. So it's really, the bestow is again not very good, and the creature itself is a fine limited card. That's about it. Fanatic of Mogus is 3 and a red for a 4/2. When it enters the battlefield as a Minotaur, when it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to your devotion to red. So that's really, really cool. It's kind of like an interesting Flame Tongue effect, given that it's Flame Tongue, but it's kind of corrected. It's not quite as powerful, I think, as Flame Tongue used to be. Definitely a thing. It's going to definitely see limited play. It may see some play in standard as well. Constructed red decks might be able to make use of him. Then we have Favorite Hoplite. We've seen this art before. When you cast a spell, it targets it, put a 1/1 counter on it, and prevent all damage to be dealt to it this turn. So that's pretty interesting. It's a saving effect. It's 1 for a 1/2, which is not bad at all. I wish it was a 2/1, to be honest, with that effect. But yeah, it's a reasonable card. It fits the 1-drop human for the set, and it does some work. And that's those. And then we have from Loading Ready Run, Tormented Hero, 1 for a 2/1, enters the battlefield tapped. So it's like Diagraph Ghoul, I guess. The 1 for a 2/2. Heroic: whenever you cast a spell that targets it, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain life equal to the life. So it's kind of like a Blood Artist effect, 1 for a 2/1. So it's a little better or worse. I don't know. Gravecrawler is going to be rotating, so it kind of fits that 1-drop role. And the Heroic's not terrible, but again, how often are you going to be targeting it with Heroic? Enters the battlefield tapped. It's an okay. Again, it's an uncommon, which makes sense, so it's fine. And then this isn't really spoilers, but I'll just mention it quickly. We have the Ultra Pro lineup. We have the Elspeth. The 3 Planeswalkers are going to be the sleeve arts, and they all look pretty good, except for Elspeth, which still seems a little weird to me, but they all look pretty good. And they have their boxes, and then Elspeth killing Huge Hydra is going to be on the binder cover, which actually looks pretty sweet, so you guys may consider picking that up. And then the gods are going to be the playmats, along with, I guess, this. But, of course, they look great when you blow them up on a playmat. I'm probably going to aim for Erebos, just because I like how Erebos looks. But Nylea, Porphyros are gorgeous. Thas is probably my least favorite of these arts. So let me know your thoughts about the spoilers and the Ultra Pro products, if you have any thoughts about getting them, any thoughts on the cards. Do you agree with my general thoughts on the rarity? And lastly, I'll just leave off my last thought. What's going on with all these spells? Because we, besides for, enchantment creatures, we haven't seen a lot of spells. I mean, we have some basically removal and counter spells, and that's it. No huge splashy effects, no huge spells. So where are these cards? I mean, listen, we're only like 100 and something cards out of 200 something cards, but still, it seems like they're giving us a very, very creature heavy front spoiler season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section as well. Check out my channel sponsors in the description of the video. And as always, Roxbox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.